they're squatters.
Oh. I think I know where you're going with this story.
They're squatters. And you say, what are Airbnb squatters? And according to Shorter, I found a website on shorttermsage.com. It says, what are Airbnb squatters? A squatter is someone who trespasses on a property they don't own and begins living there without permission. They are not tenants and don't have a lease, title, or any right to be there. Most overstaying, non-paying guests at an Airbnb are just trespassers. But once they insist on staying and start taking up residence, they turn into squatters. So that is what a squatter is. And squatters can be very difficult to deal with, actually.
Indeed, and this is not a new problem. We've obviously seen headline news about squatters popping up for the past 10, 15 years. It's been a rising problem with people becoming more brazen. It used to be limited like just your basic con artists, right? But now people have gotten wind and it's kind of spread, and more criminals are taking part in squatting activities. I think that the Airbnb squatter situation is a bit of a newer phenomenon, though, right? Because I feel like it's popping up in the news way more recently than I remember over the past 5-10 years.
Yeah, it used to be if someone maybe broke in while you were on vacation or something like that and just kind of took up residence.
Right, like not a renter, just somebody who literally just
decided,
smashed.
Came in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or there was someone who made the mistake of letting someone stay there and they just never left.
Yeah, you can crash on my couch. Oh, you said I could stay.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden they kick you out. You know, and
it's terrifying. That terrifies me.
Squatters have rights, apparently. Who knew?
Also terrifying.
You know, isn't that crazy?
A little bit.
Like, I think that's incredibly insane, just thinking that we're sitting here going, oh, yeah, the squatters have rights. And I'm just like, what about the actual tenants, you know, or the homeowners that are currently paying the mortgage, that they can't be in their own home?
Yeah, I'm fine with them having rights, just not the right to steal my house.
Yeah, exactly, right?
A little weird.
You know, and in fact, this is, you would have thought that this was more something that shouldn't be happening today, but it is. And most recently happening today.
Yeah, in fact, we came across an article about this that has a video. I find this one fascinating because this involves an Airbnb squatter.
It is an Airbnb squatter, and now it's in sunny California, thank goodness, but it's not that this isn't happening in other places. Let's check that out.
To you. All right, thanks so much, Marina. Local homeowners says there's a woman living in his guest house who's anything but a guest.
Yeah, this all started as an Airbnb rental, but now, more than 2 years later, she's still there and he can't get her out. He spoke with KCAL News reporter Jasmine Veal.
So there you go. Like, there's an Airbnb and they can't get them out.
2 years.
Yeah, that's insane.
2 years.
Just, you know,
what?
I need a place to stay. You know,
okay, hang on.
We're not trying to give tips here. You know, we're not going to say, you know,
take notes.
Yeah.
All right, I want to see more of this story.
It's just like you see the door where she's in, like every single day. We just keep all the curtains closed.
Dr. Sasha Jovanovic says he has been living a nightmare with an unwanted house guest for more than 2 years. He had listed his modern studio guest house with stunning views on Airbnb when 55-year-old Elizabeth Hirschhorn booked a stay in September of 2021. Jovanovic says it was fine for the first 4 months until February of 2022, when he discovered water damage in the guest house, and she suddenly prevented him from making any repairs.
Okay, so do you think that she had the intent on becoming a squatter and just staying there?
Well, I don't want to speculate on that, but I do find it interesting that she was obviously able to make payments for quite a long time.
4 months.
Yeah.
It said 4 months.
And
Unless I missed that. Yeah,
it was 4 months.
Yeah, it was 4 months.
And then I think I must have run out of cash, right?
Could have been, and just now we have to figure something out. Yeah, right. It's just like let me problem solve.
It's weird. Let's see what else they have to say about this.
And then from one day to the other day, everything changed. So, like, you know, she didn't want to allow anybody in anymore.
But he extended her stay through April of 2022.
I even said to her, like, okay, you can stay another 2 weeks, you know, at no cost.
Ooh.
Rookie mistake.
Ooh,
Rookie mistake.
Right there,
Yeah.
man. Right there. You can stay another 2 weeks at no cost.
Yeah, you gave that inch. How's that mile tasting now?
Yeah, that's really rough, man. Don't, there are ways to prevent squatters. And again, I found this article, on ways that you can help, yourself if you are someone that wants to be in the Airbnb business, if you really like that. Number one, you can screen your guests carefully. Who's to say that he really? I don't know. I don't know what his screening process was. I have no idea.
A checkbox. Are you crazy? Yes or no? No.
They say ask. Okay, so questions like, what brings you to town? Who's coming with you? You're new to Airbnb. Why haven't you used it before? And why are you using it now?
Right.
That's a good one, actually.
Do you need access to the office or the poll?
Yeah, exactly. Another way, it says limit stays to short term, less than 30 days. Okay. 30 days is long. I mean, I guess I guess if you're talking scheme of things of availability of being able to rent it for months on end, I guess 30 days is a short term, but
yeah, I think that's the interesting problem with the industry that Airbnb has created, because it's created a new type of landlord.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah. I mean, it says also don't use instant book for long stays.
Also makes sense to me.
You may also want to do a credit check or ask to see their W-2 tax form. I mean, if you're really wanting to be careful about this, I mean, those are very good things to check out. Another one, charge extra for late checkouts. For that, I can understand if you've had issues with people. You know what I mean?
I guess it also depends on what they mean by a late checkout. Do they mean 5 p.m. instead of 3 p.m., or do they mean Thursday instead of Tuesday?
Well, that's true. I guess you have to clarify that. Now, in here it says they were suggesting charge $50 or whatever amount is fair for you. Charge it on a per hour basis beyond 2 hours. 2 hours.
Yeah, hourly. Wow.
Consider imposing a penalty, something like 50% to 100% of the day's rate. I think you give them till the end of the day. I don't think you can give them like till 5 o'clock and then it's just a charge.
I think like you said, though, it just depends, right? Is it a fool me once situation or not?
That's true.
If you got burned, you got burned.
That's
right?
true. That's true. Let's look at a couple more of these. Remind guests of the checkout date. If guests are running late, call them. Follow up every 30 minutes. I mean, you can. Those are just
blow up their phone.
The reason that these have to be said is because I don't feel people. They think that it's like, oh, well, it's Airbnb and it's all done online, and they're not used to being landlords, or that's, they don't understand,
so
how to deal with people.
Do you think it feels less real because you're booking online? Like it feels less.
I think people think of it as like, oh, it's just extra money to me. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that everyone feels like that, but I think that they're like, oh, well, I'll clean my house. I'm not going to be here this weekend. I'll open up these dates. If someone books it, cool, I get some extra money. Yes, that's essentially what happens, but they think that's all they have to do. I mean, you have to have a point of contact.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, it's kind of it's a side hustle. It's a job. I mean,
for a lot of people, it's a full-time job.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think a lot of people just skip over the fact they're like, oh, they'll book it, I'll make money, no problem, and just hope for the best. So, if you do, good luck. Use smart locks, things like that. Stay on Airbnb, accepting bookings only on Airbnb other than other online platforms. I mean, there are other platforms that you can book on and things like that. I mean, make a distinction between guest and tenant. Don't allow guests to receive mail and packages at your property with their name.
That's a big one.
Because they can use that to claim as a tenant.
A big one.
And that, I'm sure this is what this person was doing 2 years being there. I mean, she's got to be getting mail and something sent to her.
Yeah.
It also says don't offer dirt cheap rates, which I understand. It's your home. You don't want to do that. I totally get that.
Yeah, it's a natural vetting process, right? By offering rates that are more market competitive and or value competitive to
Yeah.
the value of the property itself, you can naturally eliminate a little riffraff.
Yeah, it's but there's a difference between putting a worthwhile rate for yourself and then charging an absorbent amount of cleaning fees and things like that. There's a big difference. Check your insurance, or hire a property manager company. I mean, you can always do that. If you're doing it full time, why not? I mean, those are just a couple of things that you can do to help prevent something like this poor person and squatters happening. I mean, what would you do if you went on vacation and, or you said, hey, Brian, you can stay at our place while we're gone for, a week, and I just decided not to move out?
I would physically assault you.
But I have rights.
You would not
We're gonna
be
go
staying
to court.
on the property,
We're
Brian.
going to court.
We'll go
We're
to
going to
court.
court.
Yeah. That's sort of like when somebody says, hey, what would you do if a drone is flying outside your window? I would shoot it down. Like, you can't shoot a gun. Watch me. Yeah.
It's wabbit season.
Yeah. We'll work that out later.
Shh, be very, very quiet.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
We're hunting wabbits.
Brian, I find this also fascinating because one of the things I've always said about these weird online markets that pop up in these industry disrupting technologies, they would call this, such as Airbnb, like Lyft and Uber and all these things, they are so sensitive to government regulation. And I feel like people make really crazy investments that have huge risk into these services. If you look at the chaos in New York right now, have you been following what's been happening in New York City with Airbnb?
Oh, with all the immigration, like people staying in the hotels. Oh, no, just
no,
Airbnb.
No, with Airbnb.
Okay.
So as of September 5th of 2023, New York passed a law. It's actually enforcing old laws that Airbnbs have to register as like rentable apartments with the city if they're going to have.
So you can't just put your own. You're like, oh, my apartment, I'm gonna throw it up on Airbnb and rent it out.
For anybody that's having less than a 30-day stay, they have to register with the city as an actual like hotel style or apartment style rental. And what's happened to that is of the 22,000 Airbnbs plus or minus that were active in New York City as of like August, 80% of them have either closed down or gone to the black market because they can't afford to pay the city fees. So that's fast. I mean, how many people became like landlords overnight because they can rent out their property?
Exactly.
And now they're screwed, right?
Yeah. Now, I mean, I guess it comes down to the question is for you guys. What do you think? Are Airbnb fees way too much? Do you prefer the hotel? Would you pay the extra money for the hotel for something a little bit more? Or are you up for that bargain hunting hotel shopping type of person, versus finding the Airbnb? I don't know. I'm really curious. Let us know in the comments. If you have a story to share with us about your experience with Airbnb, please let us know. I would be fascinated to hear it. I don't know. I think for me, I'm always going to go the hotel route first. Yep. I think that it's just for me. It's just much better in that sense for me. I feel a little more security, or just something, just a little calmer. I don't know what it is. A little more peace of mind.
Yeah, I'm less concerned about the hidden camera.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about a hidden camera until now, So
next time you're at a Marriott, you're going around with like bug tracking, devices, trying to figure out.
Because everyone always used to do the black light thing and stuff like.
Oh, no, never! Don't ever bring a black light into a hotel room. Never, ever.
You will scare yourself,
ever.
Right?
Ooh, bad idea.